Iran regime is torturing families of victims of 1988 massacre. Amnesty International says Iran's regime is torturing the families of the victims of the 1988 massacre, systematically violating the absolute prohibition on torture and other ill treatment by cruel practices targeting family members of the thousands of prisoners who were forcibly disappeared and extrajudicially executed in prisons across Iran in 1988. 3 decades on from when the Iranian authorities forcibly disappeared and killed thousands of political dissidents in secret, dumping their bodies in unmarked mass graves, they continue to torment relatives by refusing to disclose when, how and why their loved ones were killed, and where their remains are buried. Family members who have sought truth and justice have faced threats, harassment, intimidation and attacks. Philip Luther, Research and Advocacy Director for the Middle East and North Africa at Amnesty, said on Wednesday, "There is no doubt that the agonizing suffering inflicted on victims' families for more than 30 years violates the absolute prohibition on torture and other cruel and inhumane treatment under international law." US pushes UN to tighten Iran's sanctions blacklist. The United States has asked the UN Security Council to update its sanctions blacklist on the Iranian regime after complaining of lapses in enforcing travel bans and asset freezes. The push for tougher enforcement of UN sanctions came amid soaring tensions between the US and Iran, following Washington's decision to impose new sanctions on Tehran and recent attacks on oil tankers in the Gulf. The UN blacklist contains the names of 23 individuals and 61 entities linked to the regime's nuclear activities, including the commander of the Revolutionary Guard's Quds Force. Hook. If nuclear deal continued, Iran would be stronger aggressor today. If the US had not pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal, the Iranian regime would be a stronger aggressor today because the restrictions on its nuclear deal would have been lifted eventually, US Special Representative for Iran Brian Hook said on Wednesday. He said, "We have put in place the right foreign policy at the right time. It is long overdue. And everything that we're dealing with now is in many ways inevitable because this Iran deal, the nuclear restrictions are going to lift eventually, and Iran would probably be doing exactly what they're doing today down the road, but they'd be stronger." Tehran's School of Social Science students hold protest rally for second day. For a second day on Wednesday, a group of students in the School of Social Sciences at Tehran University gathered on campus to protest repressive measures imposed by authorities against students. The protesters condemned the continuous arrest warrants issued by the judiciary against students. They demanded answers from the university authorities as to why the arrest warrants were being issued constantly, and they warned that if arrested students are not released, they will continue with their protest. Violent arrest of young woman by plainclothes agents causes outrage. The violent arrest of a young woman in Tehran caused public outcry. Plainclothes agents of the State Security Force arrested 5 young women and men in a park in Tehran Pass where they were playing with water guns on Saturday, June 22nd. A video clip posted on social media shows a male plainclothes agent grabbing a young woman, said to be about 15 or 16, and violently pushing her into a police car. The driver of the car and all other surrounding agents were wearing plain clothes. On Monday, Chief of Tehran's police, Hossein Rahimi, told reporters that the youngsters were charged with refusing to comply with the orders of police, breaking the social norms, clashing with police agents, and also removing the veil. They are still in the custody of police.